The Gemara Shaila is about if you can use the sheep that you used to redeem the firstborn donkey. We learned it's supposed to be a sheep or a seh. Seh can mean a sheep or a goat. But the question is, can you use a ben pagua? So the one that's found in the mother's in the mother's womb after it's shechted. But the only thing is that the mayor held that you have to shecht that if it was full term. Remember that if it was full term, you have to shecht it. So the shaila is aliba de rabbanan. According to the rabbanan that say that you don't have to shecht it. So the amri shchita sima mitarasai. The mother's shchita purifies the child that's inside. So kibisha bidikula dami. This is not a sheep. This is meat in a pot. This is just, it's like already shechted. It's like ready to be cooked. Or maybe even the hashtem yarot also. The fact is, it's still running around. So, sekarin, we call it a seh. So this is a good shaila. It's such a good shaila that it's a machlekes. Marzutra amar ein paidin, Rav Ashi amar paidin. Didn't take the charts out. So Rav Ashi is lenient. He says that you can use it, and Marzutra says you can't. Amalei Rav Ashi leMarzutra. So Rav Ashi says to Marzutra, Marzutra says that you can't. Mai daitach. What's the reason why not? Why are you being strict? The Yalfis mi Pesach. Are you learning it from the Korban Pesach? You mentioned at the beginning, Rabbi Yaakov, that the Korban Pesach, we had a way...
by not allowing you to redeem with the Ben Pekua?
Yeah, if you...
That would be an exclude.
So at the beginning we said that it says Bayos Ben Bagbag. It says Bayos, it says over there by the Korban Pesach. So he's asking him, are you learning from the Korban Pesach that I can't bring a Ben Pekua for a Korban Pesach? Why not?
Because we have to shecht it.
Because the shechita, it doesn't need shechita. How are you going to shecht it if it doesn't need shechita? So Ima lahalan, but if you're going to learn from the Korban Pesach, so then you have to take in the whole, all everything else. Zachar, it needs to be only a male. Tamim, and you can't have a mum. By the redemption of a Peter Chamar, it could have a mum. It's allowed to have a mum. It's not supposed to be a treifa. It says in our Mishnah, but it's not a carbon. It can have a one eye, larger than the other. It's alive and healthy. Ben Shana, it has to be in its first year, not by us. So Afkan Zachatam Ben Shana, you're going to come into all of these new halachas that we don't say. So he responds back, tifta, tifta, tifta. No, riba, we have an inclusion here. So, and the inclusion includes all of those things that are excluded by the Korban Pesach, exactly like we said before. That no, by the sheep that's used to redeem the Petach Hamar, it is allowed to be after its first year. It is allowed to have a mum. It's allowed to be a female. So Gemara says, 1 second, once you're including, I tifta, tifta, riba fila ben pekua nami. So then why do you include the ben pekua? So Imkain says Mayahanile. So then what am I doing with the seh? Now what did we do before with the seh? That you can't use an egel, you can't use a chaya, you can't use all of those things. Somehow he learns that it's also including the ben pekua. Okay, that was the first. You said there's 4? There's 4 questions.
There's 4 questions. Yeah.
Okay.
I numbered them 1, 2, 3.
Oh, very good.
And 4.
Did you prepare this?
I'll prepare, yeah.
So I'll listen.
No. It's fine. It's great. We're waiting for you.
Okay.
I didn't look at the WhatsApp.
Iboilahu.
Sorry.
Iboilahu. They asked another question. Iboilahu means the yeshiva asked the question. Ma'al liftis benidma. Can you use an animal that's born to the right family? It has the right yichus, but it comes out looking like a different animal. So aliba de Rabbi Eliezer laiti ba'ilach. According to Rabbi Eliezer, we don't have any question because Rabbi Eliezer in the Mishnah says that you're allowed to use kalayim. That means you can. You see, we're not saying it looks like an animal that's not valid. It looks like an animal that is valid. For example, we said you need a seh. A seh could mean a sheep or a goat. So it could be that it's a goat. It could be it's born to the sheep, but it looks like a goat. It comes out with a beard. So
it's in the same family.
So
Or vice
It would have been,
versa.
okay.
Or
it
vice
would have been
versa.
kosher.
As it says in the Chumash, before it had a beard, now he didn't have one.
So, it would have been valid if this would have been the actual. If it would have been a goat, it would have been valid. The problem is that its mother's a sheep. So, but Rabbi Eliezer doesn't mind that, because Rabbi Eliezer doesn't mind even if you mix a father, the father's from one, and you mate and it's a mixed breed. So has to be kalayim parkin and benidma bibai. If you can use kalayim, for sure you can use nidma. This is a purebred. It just happens to look different. Kiti bailach ali b'derabbanan. Shalos according to the rabbanan. The kilayim hudlay parkinan. You're not allowed to use kalayim. Granted, you can't use kalayim. However, benidma parkinan. But this is not kalayim. This is not a crossbreed. This is a purebred. It just happens to look different. Or maybe no. Maybe it doesn't matter. This is, it doesn't look like the mother. It looks like a different animal, and it's also no good. It doesn't explain what the issue is. Can I bring a nidmeh for a regular carbon, or is that a mum? I don't remember
I would
that.
think it's a mum.
Yeah?
I would think so.
I don't know.
Tashma, come and listen. Para sheyolda min eiz. A para, a female cow.
Just in case you do not.
Okay. A para that gave birth to a goat. Ein paiden. No, a para is a cow. A para you can't use to redeem the firstborn donkey. It needs to be a sheep, not a cow. So, but it gave birth to something that looks like a goat. So, from the fact that the Bais says that a cow that gives birth to it, rachel sheyolda min eiz, that means that if it would have been a sheep that gave birth to something that looks like a goat, then paiden, you should be allowed. Mani. So, who is the author of the Mishnah? Eily Rabbi Eliezer. If it's a Bais, who's the author of that Bais? If we say it's Rabbi Eliezer, now Rabbi Eliezer, we know what his opinion was in the Mishnah. Habikilayim nami parkinan. Not only by nidmeh, we think that the whole purpose of this brisa is just to tell me the diuk. And what's the diuk? That if it would have been a sheep that gave birth to something that looks like a goat, you would be allowed. That's not a chiddush according to Rabbi Eliezer. You can use kalayim itself. Ela lav rabbanani. It must be that this is the opinion of the rabbanan. And the Gemara says like. In other words, if it would have been the rabbanan, then this would be an answer to our question. The Gemara says no. We don't have an answer to the question. Loilam Rabbi Eliezer. Really, it's Rabbi Eliezer. Gufa kamash malan. And it itself is a chiddush. Why? Because the parashi yolda minei is ein paiden. Just the fact that a para that gives birth to an eiz, that itself is the chiddush, that you can't use it. The goat, you can't use this goat. We could say, look, we don't look at the lineage over here. The fact is, here you have a goat, and a goat is called a seh in the Torah, so you should be allowed to use it. I could have thought that. Ella zil basar eimei v'hay egelhu. It's not so. I have to look at the yichus. And this doesn't have the right yichus, doesn't have the right lineage. Doesn't have the sheep lineage. It's from the wrong family. So that's the chiddush over here. I could have said I just look at itself. Tashma. When it comes to yichus, so by animals it's very important, the yichus. By humans also. By animals by animals apparently it's very important. What they say by the Satmarov, by the Chassidim, the Yichus was very important. They came from this Rebbe, from that Rebbe, so they were discussing the Yichus. So someone said, they were discussing all the different Rebbes that they were from. So someone said, I'm from Avram Avinu. You know, he put down the whole so the Satmarov says, yeah, but from which wife?
That's like way below the belt.
Oh boy.
Okay. Tashma, the Tani Rabbi Bar Shmuel. Rabbi Bar Shmuel says, Ezel Kalayim. Again, we're trying to answer the nidmeh, the one that comes out looking different. What's considered Kalayim? Rachel Sheyolda Minez, Va'aviv Seh. A rachel, no, a rachel is a sheep.
A ewe.
Is that? I don't know what a ewe is.
Yeah,
What is a ewe?
It's a female sheep.
A female sheep. Okay, that gives birth to a goat, and the father is a sheep. Now, the Gemara says, 1 second. This is aviv sekalayim hu. 1 second. The father is a sheep, and the mother's a sheep. That's not kalayim. Nidmahu. That's just. It gave birth to a goat. That's just this strange,
Deformed.
yeah, it's deformed. This anomaly. It's not. That's not supposed to happen. Ella ezo dami lekalayim. The shavinu rabbanan ki kalayim. What is the case that the rabbanan consider like kalayim? It's a rachel she'eldim inez vaviv seh. So we seem to be getting to our answer here, because we're going to consider it like kalayim. We're going to have our answer. The Gemara says, 1 second. Lamai ila kachim. If it's for a sacrifice, mehechad mamayit kalayim, mehasam mamayit nidma. Oh, here we have our answer. The same place that it excludes kalayim, it also excludes this what do you call it when it comes out?
Mutant.
Mutant.
I think so.
Mutant, as in like mutation.
Hybrid?
Mutation. Yeah.
No, it's not a hybrid because it's a
Oh,
purebred.
it's still purebred.
It just looks different. What's the word
Albino.
term?
Congenital mutation?
Uh-huh.
Albino.
Developmental anomaly? I don't know.
Oh
Where
my
do you want to
gosh.
go?
Where are you going,
In
man?
art school, calls a mutant.
You want to be politically correct, or you want it scientific? Yeah, I mean, what do you want?
The Tanya. There's got to be a
Got a
word
word.
for this. When we get to
Ugly
Nida,
duckling. I mean, what do you want?
There you go.
well, they said that Mary had a little lamb and the doctor fainted, right? The Tanya. It was taught in a brisa. Shor kesev. Sounds like the Torah reading on Yom Tov. Prat lekalayim. An ox or a sheep, excluding kalayim. This excludes kalayim. Oy is prat lenidma. It excludes any animal that comes out with this mutation. Now, so we know that it can't be for kachim, because that's clear from the limits from the pasuk. So ila bechar, maybe it's talking about bechar that we're trying to learn this, that nidma is the same as kalayim. Ach bechar shar amar achmanad shehu sharu bechar shar. This we had before, that it has to look like the parent. We had this before, daf vav, daf hey, daf vav, that it's a special limit by bechar that it has to look the same. Ella lemaiser, must be we're talking about meiser. So we're automatically losing our answer here, because it's not for kachim, and by bechar we don't know about if you can use. You see, it's confusing here because bechar means that I have a kosher animal that has a firstborn. That animal needs to be brought as a carbon. When do I have to bring it as a carbon? Only if it looks like. That's not what we're talking about here. Here we're talking about I have a firstborn donkey, and I'm trying to use a seh to redeem it, and I'm asking if that seh doesn't look like its mother, looks like a goat. That's not what we're talking about when we said bechar. So we're talking about meiser. So tachas mikachim gamar. That we learn from kachim. Meiser and kachim has the same halacha. Tachas hashevet, and what's the tachas by kachim? Tachas imay. Yeah. Ella lepetach hamar. It must be we're talking about petach hamar, and here we have our answer. We're talking about petach hamar. The Gemara says, like, it's not good, because le'olam lemeiser really nidme is considered like kalayim regarding meiser. K'gain sheish by mikzas simanim. This also we learned on Davav, that if it has some of the things that are similar, some signs that are similar to the parent, it is chayav as a bechar. So if it has mikzas simanim, then I would say that it is chayav. So mal detema havara mi bechar gamar. Maybe I could have said that I'm going to learn havara from bechar, and I'm going to say kol yavar, and I'm going to say ki v'yachav varta, right? That we're going to say the same halacha, that mikzas simanim is going to help, and it's going to mean that I'm going to be allowed to use it, even though it's a nidmeh. Kamashman tachas mikachim gamar. That we're not going to use it by meiser, but I still don't have an answer for bechar. For petach hamar, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Next question. This is the third one, right? Mal liftes psulei mikdashim. Mal liftes ibaylahu. The Gemara has a question. Mal liftes psulei mikdashim. Can you use psulei mikdashim? Can you use an animal that was designated as a karban, but then it got a blemish, so you redeem it, and you bring a different animal as a karban. This animal that's redeemed has certain halachas that are still kept. It's still kept with its kedusha, even though you can eat it and it could become tummy and all of that. You just, while it's alive, you're not allowed to work it and you're not allowed to take the wool off it. So asurim begiz of avayda, but you're allowed to eat it katzvi v'chayal. That's what the pasuk says. You can eat it like a regular animal, like a regular piece of meat. So the Gemara says like this. Now we're asking, if I had a sheep that was designated as a karban, and it got a mum, now I want to use it to redeem a petach hamar. Ali b'der Rab Shimon leiti ba'ilach. According to Rab Shimon, we don't have a question. What does Rab Shimon hold? Rab Shimon, we've been learning the last few days that he holds that a petach hamar is not usher to use. Rab Shimon compares a firstborn donkey to a firstborn child. Now let's say there's a firstborn child that never had his redemption. Is he usher for something? No, you just go to a kohen and you pay the 5 coins and you're done. That's what Rab Shimon holds as by a petach hamar. You just go to the kohen and you give it, but there's no isser hana from that donkey until it's done. No, it's mutter ba'ana. That's Rab Shimon's shita. So, aliba de Rab Shimon leiti bailach, we have no question. Kivan damar mutter ba'ana chulin. It's a regular chulin animal. So it's a regular chulin animal. I have to give the kohen a gift. I can give the kohen anything, so I'm going to give him also psulei mikdashim. So that's what I'm going to give him. Ki tibailach aliba de Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yehuda, damar aser ba'ana, he says that a petach hamar, before it's redeemed, you can't have any benefit from it. It's aser ba'ana. So there's some sort of kedusha here. My kivan the iser hana. Kivan the aser ba'ana, since it's forbidden to have any benefit from the petach hamar. So ein iser chalal iser. There's a strange use of ein iser chalal iser. I can't say that the iser of the petach hamar is now going to be applied to this psulei mikdashim, because psulei mikdashim already has certain halachas. I can't impose on it the halachas of a petach hamar, which was originally yasser, and now I'm going to take it off the petach hamar and put it onto the sheep. Now this sheep was psulei mikdashim. Usually ein iser al iser doesn't really mean that, but oidilma, or maybe kimid like toughest b'dyainai. 1 second. The sheep becomes aser now. The sheep doesn't become aser. Afku yisur balmu. You're not taking an iser off the petach hamar and putting it onto the sheep. You're just taking the iser off the petach hamar, off the firstborn donkey, and then it just goes poof. That's it. No more iser anywhere. Amar Rav Mari breder Rav Kana mizuter my diksiv. Rav Mari, the son of Rav Kana, says, is it small to you what it says in the pasuk katzvi v'chayal, that it's a psulei mikdashim is treated like a deer and like a gazelle? Matzvi v'ayal ein paidin, psulei mikdashim ein paidin. Just like I can't use a deer or a gazelle to redeem a petach hamar, so I also can't use psulei mikdashim. That's not what we usually learn from tzvi v'chayal. Usually we learn from tzvi v'chayal that you can eat it like betuma, that there's no kedusha there. You can eat it betuma. That's usually what you know. Here we're saying no, tzvi v'chayal, that just like I need a sheep to redeem a petach hamar, so psulei mikdashim also can't be used to redeem a petach hamar. It has the halachas of a tzvi v'chayal. Even though it's a set. The Gemara now says, Hashtadas lahachi. Aha. We said before, according to Reb Shimon, it was obvious that it was mutter. But now we're saying that ketzvi v'chayal, and he uses that expression, mizuter my diksiv. So, Reb Shimon nami tzvi v'chayal ksiv v'hu. According to Reb Shimon, you can't use it either. Okay. V'bayilahu. Mal liftes bebehemas shvias. What about using an animal that was used, that was bought with fruits of shvias? Now the rule by shvias, by shmita, is that there's a certain sanctity to the fruits of shmita, And if you exchange it for something, the sanctity goes on to that thing. And if you exchange that thing for something, it continues on to the next thing. So if I have an animal that was bought with fruits of Shemitah, so vadai loiti bailach. If we're dealing with a petach hamar that's for sure a firstborn, so then we don't have any question. Why? Because la'achila amar rachmana v'leila schera. When it comes to Shemitah, it says you're allowed to eat the fruits, you're not allowed to do business. And because this is an exchange, that the kohen has the firstborn donkey, you have the sheep, you give him the sheep. Now this sheep has the sanctity of Shemitah. I can't do business with it. So because I'm redeeming that donkey, that won't be allowed. Ki tibaylach safek. Question is, if it's not a real petach hamar, it's only a safek petach hamar. Why? Because I just got this donkey, the mother donkey. I don't know if it gave birth or not. Could be, or maybe it gave birth to a male and a female on the same time. I show up a few minutes later, and there's two babies. I don't know which one was the first one, right? A suffix. Va'aliba de Reb Shimon, laiti bailach. And according to Reb Shimon, we also don't have a question. The Leslie suffix, because Reb Shimon doesn't hold of a suffix. Why? Because Reb Shimon holds there's no kedusha there anyway. There's no kedusha. There's no isser to use it. So what happens in a suffix? There's a petach hamar that could be a petach hamar. I have to take a sheep, separate it as a redemption for the petach hamar, and I keep it. I don't give it to the. So according to Reb Shimon,
the kohen alav haraya.
Yeah, the kohen has to bring the raya. But according to Reb Shimon, that there's no isser hana from a petach hamar. I don't have to do that if it's a suffix. I have no obligation to do that, because what am I can just use it indefinitely, and I've never violated anything. So kiti ba'ilach aliva de Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yehuda, my what's it in kiven the mafresh tzla, because you designate a sheep, yeah, you're going to keep it. V'hula atzmai, and you're going to keep it for yourself. La'achila karin Bais. So we say, okay, you're going to eat it. You're eating the sheep. There's no problem here. Oy dilma, or maybe kiven the kamad leimifka. The laimafka isura laimishteri, until you don't remove, or until all the while that the isur is not removed, you can't use it. So this is like business, even though you're not giving it to the kohen, but it's as if it's being redeemed and it's considered like business. And this is Shemitah. Tashma. Dam Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda says, "Behemas shvius ein poiden ba'as avadai, aval poiden ba'as asafik." The pshat in this Tashma. Tashma brings a raya from Rav Chisda. No,
it's an Amora. It's an Amora. Yeah.
Usually
Wait, was he yotzei the pidyon in that last case?
Here we're saying that we have a question. We don't know if you're allowed to use it, because is it considered business with Shemitah fruits? Because this animal was bought with Shemitah fruits.
And if it was considered business, then no, he's allowed to do
You're
business.
asking b'diavad. You're not allowed to do business with Shemitah fruits. This animal was
Oh, I
bought
thought
with
it's
Shemitah.
just the Shemitah did not apply to the business.
No. Anything that has the sanctity of Shemitah,
Right.
you're only allowed to eat the fruits, but you can't make a business out of it. So you can't sell it, you can't exchange it for something else.
You can eat the fruits?
Yeah.
I thought you can't eat the fruits.
In Israel, you walk around to anyone's field and you just take the fruits. It's
Oh,
hefker
someone
for everyone,
else.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't
Well, you
start
make
taking
your
it
own
and selling
fruit.
it.
Oh, you can take your own fruit
If
too?
you eat it right there.
Oh, I didn't
You
know.
can take what you need to feed your family.
Oh, I thought only
You can't hoard
to
it.
go next door.
You can't hoard it.
Oh, okay.
And once there's
You
nothing
can eat
left,
it right there.
Right
once
there
there's
in the
nothing
field.
left in the field,
Take it
you have to
out.
take it out. You know, so if you have in your house and there's nothing outside, you have to take it back out to the field. If you brought it into the house. So this is interesting. The Gemara brings Rav Chisda
As a tashma.
as a tashma. He says that you can't redeem a vadai, but you can redeem a suffix. Ve'amar Rav Chisda, behema shvius petura min ha'bechayra. Rav Chisda says that if I do have an animal of Shemitah, I don't bring it as a sacrifice. If it has a firstborn child, I don't bring that firstborn child as a sacrifice. It's very interesting. We're going to see the reason. But I do have to give those gifts to the Kayan. Remember the jaw, the foreleg, P'tura min ha-bechira. Why is it exempt from being brought as a sacrifice? A certain part of the animal, the innards, are brought on the mizbeach, and shmita things have to be eaten, not burnt. Because that's considered eating. You're not eating it. The kayan's eating it, but that's still food. Kayan's eating his food. Meisvei. Where's the question? Let's say you make a dough from shmita flour. If you eat from that dough before you take challah, chayiv misa. It's misa b'dei shamayim, but it's because of challah. Well, in Eretz Yisrael, chalas, Eretz Yisrael, not chalas, chutz la'aretz. Va'amai, why is it? Why do you have to take challah off this? The dough was made from shmita. Va'amai kivan de'ilu metamya. If the dough would become tamei, basreifahi, you would have to burn it because it has the halacha a status of truma, and la'achlam rachman of leila sreifa. So, I would have to burn it. So I should take off the halacha of challah. Look, I took off the halacha of bechar because I can't use it. I can't burn it, so it has no mitzvah of bechar. So it should have no mitzvah of challah either, because if it would become tummy, you'd have to burn it, and shmita has to be eaten, not burnt. Gemara says 1 second. Shani hacha, here it's different. Tiksiv l'dari sechem, for all generations. And somehow that's a limud that says that it applies even to shmita. At all times. It means at all times, even Shemitah, I have to take challah. Tanya Nami Hachi was also taught in a Braisa. Minayin la'ich alisa shviyas actually hor mechalasa shechayev misa shnemal l'dari sechem. It says l'dari sechem. You have to take challah off Shemitah dough, even though if it becomes tummy, you have to burn it. The Gemara asks v'ligmar minay. So why don't we learn from there that Bechor as well should be chayev? So the Gemara says no. There's a huge difference. Hasam ikar la'achila, hacha ikar l'sreifa. It's a funny Gemara because the Gemara comes around based on a pasuk, but the logic is what we get at the end. Logic is that what is challah? Challah, you take it off and the kayan eats it. You're saying if it became tameh, you're going to burn it. So therefore, I'm going to take off all the laws of challah. By a bechar, l'chatchila I have to go burn the insides. So I can't do that for shmita. If it's an animal that was purchased for shmita things, that I can't do. But the Gemara doesn't use that logic directly. The Gemara says that I learned from l'dari sechem. Why don't I learn from bechar, from challah to bechar, and tell me that the same thing applies to bechar? The Gemara says no, because bechar is ikar l'sreifa. So it uses that difference to tell me why I don't learn from there.
But I thought if you can't give, nowadays we do shreifa with the challah because we don't give it. So why are you drawing a separation between?
Yeah, but this is what we do is simply because we consider it tamei.
But if you end up in shreifa either way,
the mitzvah the right way. We don't perform.
No, the original mitzvah was to give it to a kayan. Okay. Nasna l'kayan. Here we said that if you gave the petach hamar to the kayan, so then...
Excuse me, I'm not letting you guys off the hook so quickly, because the original mitzvah, was you're supposed to do the petach hamar, and all we've been discussing so far is all these ways of not doing it, and how olav hamatz mechver olav ray and all these things. And now comes to challah. Oh, that's not the way we don't do it originally. Sorry, you're not off the hook so easy.
But do you follow the difference?
You, okay. I'm giving you a hard time.
Okay, so it says Nasa l'kayan that when you give it to the kayan has to redeem it as well. He has to separate a sheep. He keeps it, but he still has to do that. Tanin Allah the Tanar Rabbanon. What was taught in the Mishnah was also taught in the Braisa. Yisrael shayilei petach hamar b'teich beisai. Let's say a Yisrael has a petach hamar in his house, a firstborn donkey. The kain comes along and says, listen to this. The kain comes along and says, give it to me, I'll redeem it. He said, don't give it to him.
He wants the donkey.
Yeah.
That's why he's doing that.
He says, give me the donkey. He says, you can't give it to him. Elikem padu b'fanav, unless the Kayin redeems it in front of you. Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rabbi Bar Avua, Zaysei Meres, Rav Nachman says in the name of his father-in-law, Rabbi Bar Avua, that this tells us that Nechshadu HaKayanim al Pitrei Chamireyim, that the Kayanim are suspected that they're not going to do the redemption. The Gemara says, Pshita.
Shita.
The Pshita is not that it's obvious that they're suspected. The Pshita is that why do you have to say Zaysei Meres? You say Zaysei Meres. This tells. I mean, it's like you don't have to always finish explaining the punchline. Because when it's so obvious.
We're getting there.
So he's asking on the Zaysei Meres. The Gemara says no. It's important that Rabbi Bavua says this. Maybe I would only say this by a kohen that I didn't trust because we see that he's done this before. But in a regular case, no. I would say that the kohen's going to redeem it. He's going to take a sheep. Comes to tell us that the kohen is an honest guy. The only thing is, he's going to act leniently, not because he's a cheater, just because he thinks that it's allowed. Why? Because he's going to say that, look, I'm a kohen. What's that? I happen to have a sheep, so it's like automatically redeemed. It's not a problem. It's there. It's just like the formalities. I don't have to do it. The thing here, there. He's going to be Mariheta. He may not actually do it.
Case, the guy is going to show up and say, "Give me your donkey. I'll redeem it." Why would anyone give him the donkey? Sometimes say, "Give me your donkey. I'll redeem it."
Well, you either give him the donkey or you have to give him a sheep. So he says, "I'll save you the trouble. I'll do it."